They never warn you about this. They teach you to be honest. They teach you to be kind. They teach you to trust people. But they never teach you how power actually works. Niccolo Machiavelli learned it the hard way, in courts, prisons, and exile. Watching men rise, fall, betray, and smile while doing it. He saw rulers crowned in glory, then torn apart by their own allies. He watched honest men die poor while manipulators lived in palaces. He learned that the world doesn't reward virtue the way we're told it does. It rewards perception, timing, strategy, and most brutally, it rewards those who understand human nature better than others understand themselves. That's where Lesson 1 begins. Lesson 1: people don't see who you are, they see what you appear to be. Machiavelli realized something disturbing early in his political career. The world judges appearances before truth. You could be brilliant, but if you appear uncertain, people dismiss you. You could be weak, but if you appear confident, they follow you. The confident voice is believed. The calm face is trusted. The weak appearance is punished, even when the weakness is a lie. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone incompetent rise simply because they seemed competent? How many talented people have been ignored because they lacked presence? Machiavelli understood this: perception is reality in the court of human judgment. So the intelligent man learns to control perception. He hides uncertainty behind composure. He masks anger behind restraint. He never shows desperation, even when he feels it. Because being fully known makes you predictable. And predictability is dangerous. When people can read you completely, they know how to manipulate you. They know your triggers, your weaknesses, your next move. But when you control what they see, you control how they respond. This doesn't mean lying about who you are. It means being selective about what you reveal, and when. Time taught Machiavelli another truth closely connected to this. Those who reveal their intentions rarely succeed. That's Lesson 2. Lesson 2: never reveal your full hand. Machiavelli watched intelligent men destroy themselves repeatedly, not through lack of skill, but through lack of restraint. They spoke too freely. They shared their dreams at dinner parties. They announced their plans before executing them. They celebrated victories before they were secured. And every single time, someone used that information against them. Silence became strategy. When people don't know what you want, they relax. They stop preparing defenses. They underestimate you. And in that underestimation, you gain power. The strategic mind listens more than it speaks. It asks questions instead of making statements. It lets others reveal themselves while remaining a mystery. This applies everywhere. In negotiations, the person who speaks first usually loses. In conflict, the person who shows their full anger first becomes predictable. In competition, the person who announces their ambitions first gets blocked. But there's a balance here. Reveal too little, and people don't trust you at all. Reveal too much, and they use it to destroy you. The art is revealing just enough to seem genuine, while keeping your true capabilities, intentions, and strategies hidden until the perfect moment. As Machiavelli observed power longer, he noticed something else. Most alliances weren't built on principle. They were built on emotion. Which brings Lesson 3. Lesson 3: be loved if possible, but never depend on it. Here's what Machiavelli saw that made him infamous. Love is unstable. Loyalty fades when convenience disappears. People love you when you're useful. When you make them feel good. When you give them what they want. But the moment circumstances change, the moment loving you becomes costly or inconvenient, that love evaporates. Fear, on the other hand, or more precisely, consequences, lasts. Now, before you misunderstand, Machiavelli didn't teach cruelty for cruelty's sake. He taught capability. Be fair. Be generous when possible. Build genuine relationships. But never be harmless. When people know you can act, that you have boundaries and will enforce them, they hesitate before crossing you. Think of the best leaders you know. They're often kind, approachable, supportive. But there's something else beneath that kindness. A quiet strength. A line you don't cross. A sense that if you betray them, there will be consequences. That combination, warmth with backbone, is what creates lasting respect. Pure niceness without strength gets exploited. Pure fear without fairness creates resentment and eventual rebellion. The strategic person balances both. Watching rulers fail over and over taught Machiavelli something even subtler. Something about timing. That is Lesson 4. Lesson 4, intelligence is timing, not just knowledge. Machiavelli watched countless people who knew exactly what to do. They had the right strategy, the right plan, the right vision. But they acted too early and got crushed for being ahead of their time. Or they acted too late and watched someone else claim their opportunity. Intelligence without timing is wasted. Power belongs to those who wait while others rush. The strategic mind observes patterns, senses shifts in the environment, feels when momentum is building, and then moves, not when they're ready, but when the moment is ready. Think about great leaders throughout history. They didn't just have good ideas. They had good ideas at the right time. They knew when people were ready to listen, when circumstances aligned, when resistance was lowest. One precise action at the perfect moment outweighs 100 emotional reactions at the wrong times. This is why patience is a weapon. Not the passive waiting of the weak, but the active observation of the strategic. You're watching, learning, preparing. And when the opportunity appears, you move with decisive speed. As Machiavelli studied conflict, he learned something that separates the wise from the foolish. Thus Lesson 5. Lesson 5, never fight every battle. Here's what weak people do, they react to everything. Every insult demands retaliation. Every slight requires a response. Every challenge must be met with confrontation. And they exhaust themselves fighting battles that don't matter. Strong people choose. Not every insult deserves attention. Some are tests. Some are distractions. Some come from people so irrelevant that responding gives them power they don't deserve. Not every enemy deserves engagement. Some people defeat themselves if you simply step aside and let them. Strategic intelligence means conserving energy for battles that change outcomes, not battles that satisfy egos. Machiavelli watched powerful men destroy themselves over petty feuds, over wounded pride, over the need to win every argument. Meanwhile, the truly dangerous players stayed quiet, let others fight, and positioned themselves to benefit from the chaos. Ask yourself, which battles actually move you toward your goals? Which ones just drain your resources? The moment you start choosing your battles, you become exponentially more powerful. Because you're not scattered anymore. You're focused. And focus is a force multiplier. Then came the darkest realization Machiavelli had. The one that made people call him evil. Lesson 6. Lesson 6, use human nature, don't fight it. Here's what idealists do, they wish people were better. More rational. More honest. More loyal. More noble. and they build strategies based on how people should be and not how they actually are. Then they're shocked when people act selfishly, emotionally, predictably. Machiavelli stopped wishing people were better. He started working with reality. People are self-interested. That's not evil, it's nature. People are emotional. They make decisions based on feelings, then justify them with logic. People are easily influenced by perception, status, fear, and desire. Instead of demanding loyalty, Machiavelli designed incentives. Instead of trusting morality, he prepared for betrayal. That's why he was rarely surprised and never powerless. Understanding human nature doesn't make you cynical. It makes you effective. When you know what drives people, you can predict their behavior. When you can predict their behavior, you can position yourself accordingly. This isn't manipulation if you're using it ethically. It's understanding. Great teachers use it to motivate students. Great parents use it to guide children. Great leaders use it to inspire teams. The tool is neutral. Your intentions determine whether it's wisdom or manipulation. Exile gave Machiavelli the final lesson. The most ruthless one. Lesson 7. Lesson 7. Adapt or be destroyed. When Machiavelli lost everything, his position, his power, his security, he learned the ultimate truth. The world changes. Power shifts. What works today may fail tomorrow. Rigid minds break. Flexible minds survive. The strategies that brought you success can become the habits that cause your downfall. The beliefs that once served you can become the prison that limits you. The identity you built can become the obstacle to your evolution. The strategic person updates their beliefs constantly, drops their ego ruthlessly, evolves faster than the chaos around them. Because the moment you cling to comfort, the moment you say, "This is who I am and I won't change," you begin to lose. Look at history. Every empire that fell believed it was eternal. Every company that died believed its model was unbeatable. Every person left behind believed their way was the only way. Adaptation isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength. It means you're learning, growing, becoming more capable. The world doesn't reward those who refuse to change. It buries them. The truth about Machiavelli. Machiavelli was called immoral, dangerous, evil. His name became synonymous with ruthless manipulation. But the truth is simpler and more important. He didn't teach cruelty. He taught awareness. He looked at power without the comforting illusions most people wrap around it. He saw how the world actually works, not how we wish it worked. And he wrote it down. Clearly, brutally, honestly. That honesty terrified people. Because once you understand these 7 brutal lessons, something changes. You stop being controlled by illusions. You stop expecting fairness in an unfair world. You stop trusting appearances without verification. You start seeing the game underneath the game. The real patterns. The actual motivations. The hidden strategies. And when you see the game clearly, you can choose how to play. You can choose to be ethical, but strategic. Generous, but not naive. Trusting, but not blind. Kind, but not harmless. That's the real power of Machiavellian thinking. Not becoming cruel. Becoming conscious. Not abandoning your values. Protecting them with intelligence. Not playing dirty. Playing aware. The choice is yours. These 7 lessons aren't commandments. They're observations about how power, influence, and human nature actually work. What you do with them is entirely up to you. You can use them to manipulate and harm, but that path leads to emptiness. Or you can use them to protect yourself, build something meaningful, and navigate a complex world without losing yourself. The strategic mind isn't cold. It's clear. It sees reality without flinching and acts with precision. So the question isn't whether these lessons are moral or immoral. The question is, now that you see the game, who will you choose to be? Because ignorance isn't virtue. And awareness isn't evil. The world is playing by these rules whether you acknowledge them or not. The only difference is whether you play consciously or get played. Machiavelli gave you the map. What you do with it is up to you.